right now, like the contract you guys have is with Valve, but as you said, with like the leadership of the company, the leadership of the organization, company, whatever, what term do you want to use for it?
It's a company.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, yeah. So there's like this chain of leadership with you and then David, but right now you guys have a single contract, and obviously I don't see
Yes.
Valve pulling out of development uh, anytime soon. Like, they clearly care about the Steam Deck. They're clearly trying to keep this going. But having a single contract obviously is a single point of failure.
Oh, yes. This has been discussed quite a bit internally. We do want more contracts. However, there's a challenge, which is that let's say we get another contract.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we're going to need some people to do work on that, right? If everybody's already 100% booked doing work on the existing contract, we need new people.
Right.
If we need new people, we do some hiring. If we do some hiring, we haven't actually increased the stability of the company at all.
Right.
Because if we lose that second contract, well, we probably have to get rid of those people who we hired.
Mhm.
So, the solution here is basically to dramatically, radically raise rates so that the amount of money that you're taking in is vastly more than is going out, so that you can kind of survive the loss of any individual contract. And we do ultimately want more contracts.
Mhm.
One thing I'll say is that probably at this moment, the reason why I think we need more contracts is to have contracts denominated in different currencies.
Mm.
Because right now we get US dollars from Valve,
Mhm.
and those US dollars go back out to the people located in the USA, like me and any others. And there's no currency conversion involved there. But when any of that money goes out to people in other countries, there is a currency conversion. And currency exchange rates fluctuate.
Right.
They don't stay the same. They're not nice like that. And sometimes when you have a president who decides to start a trade war with the entire world, your country's exchange rate doesn't do very well against other countries.
Mhm.
So, it's one of those situations where you need to diversify a little bit.
Right.
Right now, we've only got dollars coming in. If we also had euros coming in,
Mhm.
then we would be converting those euros, back to dollars, or else holding them in euros and then paying them back out. And either way, that is getting rid of that point of failure there. Because like right now, I'm sorry, everybody, but like we're going to have to get a little bit political here, because there's just an inevitable connection between business and finance and politics,
Mhm.
especially in international stuff. But if the US dollar to euro exchange rate like absolutely collapses, and I need to spend like $100 to buy €1,
Mhm.
that's the end,
Sure.
right? There's no money. There basically isn't any money to pay anybody who needs to be paid in euros or pounds or Swiss francs or anything, right? So like to a large extent, to run an international entity, you rely on stable currency exchange rates. Like they always fluctuate, but you need for them to be relatively stable in a certain realm.
Mhm.
And what we're seeing right now, today is on the recording date is April 4th or 3rd. No, it's 3rd.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
I don't even remember what day it is. This was the day that this giant trade war just started, and it's not great for the US dollar, which means it's not great for anybody who gets paid in a currency, not a US dollar, from money that comes from US dollars.
Mhm.
So, like, all this stuff is interrelated in the end, even though technically the tariffs aren't affecting this business because we're paying for services and not goods.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know, that could change tomorrow. And regardless, what it has affected exchange rates, and those exchange rates are directly hurting all of us. I know it's kind of an awkward topic because we like talking about open source software here, but now we've got into companies, and companies need money to pay people so that they can live and pay their rent
Mhm.
and eat. And in order to get that money, those companies need to be earning income and a profit. And if some
Mhm.
of those people need to be paid in different currencies from the money that's coming in, all of a sudden it starts to look very complicated and inevitably becomes political. Like there's no way around it. There just isn't, right?
Mhm.
And I wish there was. I wish that limitation wasn't there. I wish we could convert dollars to euros effortlessly without any kind of fluctuation, but that doesn't appear to be the world we live in. And that's just one of the things that you kind of have to think about, right? Like running a business is all about risk. And one of the very specific risks that we face is this particular currency risk. And so that's one of the top reasons why we're actively looking to get more clients, especially those in Europe. And when I say this, it's because we have like an incredible set of people in this company. I mean, it's basically like all the people who are doing this awesome work in Blue Systems. There are a lot of big names who you've heard of before, and we have basically the talent to work on anything KDE or Plasma related. And right now, the company is very much a KDE focused company. So if somebody says, hey, I would like to give you $1 million to write an evil AI powered restaurant ordering system that unemploys all of the waiters and waitresses, and it needs to be in C++, and you're all really great at C++, would you like to make lots and lots of money by unemploying tons of people? I would say, no thanks. Not unless you want to do it with KDE software. But even then, even if they said we want to build a KDE-based evil AI unemploy everybody system, I'd take it to the people in the company and I would say, hey, everybody, here's an opportunity we've got. What do you think we should do?
Right.
Should we do this or should we not do this? And that would be a decision we'd have to make collectively, because if not everybody's on board, if a bunch of people really don't like this idea and we did it anyway, how could we expect those people to be happy and productive? Like, it doesn't make sense. Everybody basically needs to be on the same page and agree on stuff, which requires talking about stuff, which requires getting people's input and buy-in and approval. So like, I kind of don't think there's really any other way that you can run a company like this other than letting the people have input over what goes on, especially like a brain-based business, because this is a company that has basically no assets, right? It's like a bunch of laptops and like a dozen people's giant brains. Like those are the company's assets. My wife has been fond of saying that this company is like an illithid cabal. We're like just like a bunch of people, brains in jars, doing stuff. Like, we need the jars, I need the brains. That's us. But like, there's no real estate, there's no assets, there's no machinery, there's no factory. But yeah, just to get back on topic a little bit. So if there's anybody out there who is like interested in sponsoring work on KDE software for their institution, especially if they're based in Europe, we would be very interested in talking, because we have a lot of stuff that we can offer, and we're at this particular moment very interested in getting euro denominated work.
Yeah, I know there has been a lot of interest in. I know Germany's done so, and a lot of other European countries are moving a lot of their government systems over to Linux, which I think is really cool. Like that's
a big deal. It's
actually
huge.
really cool.
It's definitely cool. Those are probably some future opportunities for us. I don't know how much I can get into that, but I can definitely say that it's something I would really like to see more of in general. I think it's great. And it's one of those things where the more it happens, the more it tends to encourage other stuff, right? Like, if one province in Germany adopts a bunch of Linux and KDE software, then that sort of lowers the perceived scariness for anybody else who wants to do it, because they can point over next door and they can say, well, they did it over there in Baden-Württemberg, maybe we can do it over here. And then, Berlin says, well, maybe we can do it over here. Suddenly it isn't scary. It's actually just like the normal thing. And then before you know it, everybody in public administration in Germany uses KDE software, and we're all happy, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I've talked about this in regards to the Linux-powered gaming handhelds, right? Like, you have the Steam Deck first, and it's cool. It's the Steam Deck. And now you have Lenovo with their Lenovo Legion Go S that comes out, I believe, in May. So now you have another company that's not related to Valve doing the same thing. And by having another company there, if that does reasonably well, it opens up the floodgates for other companies who are like, who might already have handhelds. Like a bunch of them already do exist, but most of them are Windows powered. And at least for now, look, Windows is just not the Windows shell is just not suitable for a gaming handheld. It just simply
That's
is
what I
not.
hear. Yeah, that's what I hear. Well, you're
And
probably familiar with the old saying, "Nobody ever got fired for buying IBM," right? Well, I am really just tickled pink that it's becoming that way with Valve and SteamOS and the gaming handheld. Nobody ever got fired for going with SteamOS. Like, it's just so funny. It's great.
yeah,
And so obviously we all want more of this. I think
right.
it's great for KDE, it's great for Linux, it's great for people because they don't have to deal with Windows anymore. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, imagine having a Windows handheld. You're playing a game and it's like, Windows update time. Have fun. Enjoy.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Like there's no reason why Microsoft couldn't make a custom Windows shell specifically for these gaming handhelds. And like the Xbox operating system is a modified version of Windows. Like it uses the Windows kernel at its core. They can do it. They just have to do it.
I don't know. I don't really have any insight there, but all I can say is that their failure to do so in a way that appears competitive is to our advantage. And I think it's great that instead we've got Linux and KDE software on these devices instead, because of course this gets into KDE world domination, which is what I'm all about. And hey, if we got to start with the gamers, I think that's a great place to go because gamers are like, they're forward thinking. They're really interested in cutting edge hardware. They like to tweak their systems. They're after good performance. They tend to be like outspoken and thought leaders in their community. So I think it's fantastic if we end up becoming like the gaming OS people, because where gamers go, other people follow, in the same way that like developers and artists too, right? Like when artists use particular tool chain instead of software, other people follow. Where developers do this, other people follow. And I think gamers are one of the poles of that tent, basically. And if we end up in a situation where like KDE has got gamers and we've got developers and we've got artists, like we've basically won. Everybody else is just going to follow after that.